allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Morandi?
Here.
Trustee Early?
Here.
Trustee Miller?
Here.
Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Veloto?
Here. Evening, everyone. Our monthly meeting. We'll get it rolling here. We have a report, Police Department, Officer in Charge Burke.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. We had pretty quiet, not shouldn't say quiet, but we had a good July. We had number of calls was 88. Most of them were like 80 cases and people's sick cases and assist citizens. For the month, we had 2 arrests. We had an individual up from Brooklyn that was visiting Cold Spring who had some dogs in the car, locked in their vehicle at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when it was about 90 degrees. Responded to a call for the dogs in the vehicle. We removed the dogs from the vehicle, and the owner of the vehicle was in possession of 36 grams of marijuana and 10 oxycodone pills. He was placed under arrest, and he's now going through the court process. We had another male that was arrested for possession of marijuana also. His arrest was right in the back of Haldane on Cedar Street. He actually had 30 grams of marijuana in his possession. For the traffic and vehicle law, we had 20 moving tickets. We had 80 parking tickets for a total number of 100 tickets for the month of July. And that's about it.
Want to report or say anything about our new cadets?
Oh, yes, we hired Nico Davalier. Nico, he graduated from the cadet program from Putnam County. He came over, he did his first full tour. He did a half a tour with one of my officers for training, and then he did a full tour on a Sunday, and he seems to be working out perfectly. He just has to know a little lay of the land with the addresses and stuff of Main Street, but he was out there in the field 2 Sundays ago. And I'm very, very happy with Nico at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our monthly report. Why don't we, Rick's here. Do you want to get out earlier?
I'm gonna hang out, so yeah, no,
Okay,
whatever.
I was gonna say, we can skip ahead, we seem to do that. Okay, we'll go to, monthly reports, recreation. Would someone like to read that, because for some reason I can't find that in my. Here we go. Oh, it's on the back. Let's see, this is from Bruce Campbell. Based on my resigning from the Recreation Commission, this will be my last report. As you may or may not know, Bruce resigned last week. He's taken a part-time job doing lawn mowing and other duties for the Rec Commission for the village. One of the stipulations was that he would have to resign because he was the chair of the Rec Commission, so it's a bit of a conflict there. So anyway, just to clear that up. So this is a letter based on my resigning from Recreation. This will be my last report. Recreation Commission, Tuesday, July 17th. We mainly discussed the application for the planned Oktoberfest and the Cold Spring Nights of Columbus scheduled for September 29th and 30th of 2018. Met with John Shearer as to details, very similar to last year's event. John will update Recreation as we get closer to the event date. I spoke to Officer in Charge on this as the police requirement. Parking along the entire fence line of Mayor Park is requested. Goose dropping cleanup was discussed and will have to be addressed at a future meeting. All Mayor's Park requirements and requests have been completed and with no complaints. Asterisk, I have put all previous 2018 requests in a folder. I have put all current 18 requests in a folder for future recreation consideration. I will pass on to the future Recreation Commission chairperson all information of projects I was working on as to Cold Spring Park work and necessary renovation. I hope that as I continue working in the interest of recreation parks, areas in Cold Spring, that the requests for all materials and infrastructure improvement will be approved. The waterfront work that still needs to be completed due to the storm that caused damage to trees and pavers is still in progress. I will stay with this and pass all information on to the future chair. Work as to repairing pavers and some landscape work on the south side of Waterfront Park is planned for the fall. It was a pleasure being involved for many years as chair and liaison to the village board as to the Recreation Commission and the needs to keep Cold Springs Park areas in good condition and all residents' requests in order and with satisfaction. I realize Village has had a few requests advertising for volunteers to join the Recreation Commission, was at 15 members for was at 5 members for years, recently updated to 7 members. My resignation and the fact that we really never have had interest in a vacancy, the village board may want to consider going back to 5-member commission. There are long-term members that I would hope would consider being chair and keeping this in order. Best to Recreation Committee, Recreation Commission, Bruce Campbell. As to the chair, I've reached out to all of the members. I've only not heard back from one. All of the longtime members are involved in a lot of other activities. John Morani, coaching, Steve Etta, probably for health reasons, and his activities with the fire company. And also, who else do we have there? Oh, Gloria McVeigh. All declined. I've reached out to Ruth Cullenbar. She was recommended by 2 of the other members, so we'll see if she's interested, and we'll need to put an ad in the paper.
Okay.
We have nothing from the planning board. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, I missed one thing, just want to let the board know. We now have in 2 of our vehicles, what's called a dash cam that we received from the Putnam County Sheriff's Office at no cost to us. The dash cams were installed, and I'm in the process of getting all my guys trained on the dash cams. They will be used for vehicle stops, officer safety, and whatever needs to come along. And I just wanted to thank again the Sheriff's Office for all the help that they've been giving us in trying to upgrade all of our equipment.
Great. Thank you for following up on all of that. That never would have happened, so thank you. We have nothing from the planning board. Things are quiet. ZBA monthly report. ZBA did not meet during the month of August. Completed business, none. And current business, none. Old business, public hearing notice, signs. The board will discuss making proposal to the village board of trustees for a code change to require signs to be posted on properties in advance of public hearing in order to increase visibility into the process and reduce friction between applicants and neighbors. I think that's a very good idea. 191 Main Street, inactive application for a new shed at the end of the driveway and property Chestnut Street side requiring setback variances. And 230 Main Street, the owners have been denied a building permit for a 6-foot fence and applied for a variance. ZBA held 1 workshop with the applicant and expect vote. Town of Phillipstown. Bob, do you have that sign? I know they were talking about putting signs for the zoning board or planning board. Do they do that now or not? When there's an application?
Oh,
No. Oh, okay. I thought they were discussing doing that.
I only really have 1 or 2 things to report. Pretty quiet summer so far, everything, not much going on. We did finally get the bid package out for the renovations of the town hall. Unfortunately, it's gonna be over $500,000, so now we gotta rebid it because the wood laws comes into place at this particular time. So we're seeing if we can work through that, or we have to rebid it. We may have to. We had quite a few people interested in it though, so which is good thing.
Was there an estimate on the bid?
No, it wasn't.
Well, I mean, when you put it out, did you know where it was
Well,
coming?
we had an idea where it was gonna
And
be.
this
We
came-
didn't think it was gonna be that much, but
Okay.
it's probably gonna be a lot more than that, quite honest, so.
Those are big windows.
Well, the windows is a separate package altogether,
Okay.
okay? The windows alone were like $50,000, so.
Yeah.
The windows aren't included in that, it's separate bid altogether on that one, so. Anyway, so that's the process of that. Also too, I've been going down the Indian Brook Road the last couple of Sundays to see how the traffic has been down there. Last year, I know I was reporting a lot of traffic problems, but the last 2 Sundays I went down there, I didn't see any issues, so I don't know, maybe people aren't coming to it anymore. I don't know, or maybe reading the signs, but so far I think it's been a pretty good summer and no one's complained to us about it. It's fun. Also too, Desmond Fish Library is sponsoring a Celebrate First Responders on September 23rd. So all the firemen are invited, first responders for the ambulance corps, everybody else. So it's something it's nice. We're gonna have a little barbecue down here to thank everybody for first responders. So
When day is that?
September 23rd.
What time?
From 1 to 3. And the rain date is the 30th. So, that's all I really have. Really, like I said, it's been quite some. Also, the planning board will not be meeting this past in August. They did do the scoping project with the Hudson Highland Reserves up there, so that's in process. So probably in September, they might have that all finalized, but then we'll see what happens at that particular time. Thank you.
Thank you. We have nothing from Historic District Review Board. Anything from the fire company?
I have nothing.
On fire company, the roofers will start tomorrow. They were going to be at the beginning of the week, but obviously not the greatest weather. But they did call and they're going to start tomorrow. Nothing from tree advisory. Code update.
The Code Update Committee conducted 2 meetings in the month of July. The Code Update Committee welcomed new member Michael Reisman. The Code Update Committee is in the process of completing the discussions and preparing the materials for all 5 topics for Phase 3 and for the Phase 3 public meeting. All materials for the Phase 3 meeting have been completed for the topic, Evaluate Adopting Ridgeline Protection Overlay District. Draft materials on the topic, Outdoor Lighting Standards, have been developed and are in review. Using the materials provided by our consultant Ted Fink, the topic Green Building Standards is being further developed. The topic Evaluate Flooding Standards has been completed. Materials are being developed. The materials for the topic Evaluate Steep Slope Standards are being reviewed. The tentative date for the Phase 3 public meeting is next Wednesday, August 22nd. A status update call was conducted with NYSERDA. A revised contract was received from NYSERDA on July 30th. It is being reviewed. Do you know whether or not with the start of the roof, is that going to affect any use of the fire company?
No. No, in fact, that was made very clear that all the doors and everything have to be kept clear.
And the interior rooms are not going to be disrupted? Okay, great, thank you.
Marie, do we need to post your public meeting if it's next week? Do we need to
Doug?
post it on Facebook?
Doug has worked with me on an ad which will be in the PCNR.
That is in fact in the PCNR tomorrow.
Thank you, Doug, and thanks for your help on that.
Marie, where is the public hearing going to be held?
The firehouse, 7 p.m.
Report water, wastewater.
There's a lot. Start off on wastewater. The Market Street pump station, everything is done, and I see you've got paving happening down there on Friday, I think, this Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
We had training with the manufacturer's representatives for the pumps that were installed and the control panel last week. And so Scott, Louie, myself, as well as our engineer were down there just getting familiarized with the maintenance involved and different things with that new system. All is operating well. And the only thing left there within that was Kemble Avenue. We're going to be getting a new manual disconnect for the power supply should we have an outage, and an emergency power connection for a generator that hopefully we'll be getting once we get the paperwork through EFC. And so that's the only work that hasn't been completed at this point. That was part of a change order to that whole contract, but everything that was done, and that's expected by the end of the month. Everything that's down there has been operating well, and so the project ended well. That's it on wastewater.
What is the effect of the paving on Market Street going to have on traffic?
It'll go a lot faster.
They're gonna have to be, we posted, leaves extra time. It's gonna start just before the entrance, or the exit, but they're well aware of it, Fidel, and they're gonna have people down there and have to direct traffic and work around it
And they expect it to be done?
in a day.
Great, thank you.
And they would have worked on Saturday, but they couldn't because the plant wouldn't open for such a small amount. And I guess no one else wants any in the area, but
Okay.
anyway, Sal tried to do it on Saturday and it didn't work out. Two questions. One was, when I was down there one time when they first put the panels in the new new pump station, there was problems. That's all been kind of, I think there was problems. I was down there one time and there was problems with something.
There's
with the
always an
panels.
issue at startup, you know, nothing goes flawlessly, but everything's been addressed and
Okay.
working.
I didn't know if there was something
No,
more serious.
no, a couple of kinks to get worked out, and then they do, and then you go from there.
And then the other thing, there was an emergency repairs on Kemble Avenue with Padala Oil.
Palo Electric.
Oh, it was Padala Electric? No,
Yeah.
Padala Oil.
We had several, no, nothing to do with Palo Oil. It would be
Is that
Palo
an
Electric.
emergency, something to Kemble Avenue, I just signed a check.
It would have been for electric, unless I labeled it wrong, which is completely possible.
It was 800 some dollars.
Yeah, it was, we've had a bunch of outages down there, and one of the motor disconnects fried. We borrowed one from the second unit that's down there, and then we bought two to replace it, so it's like $500 some odd dollars in actual disconnects. And then the rest is a small amount in labor, $200 in labor or whatever, so, but that was Bell Electric.
And that's what we were replacing, that weren't we, though? Or what were we?
Yeah,
what were
what
you
we're,
doing down
what
there?
we're working on is the electrical panel as you drive past it, the board that's there
Right.
that has the electrical meter on it also has a disconnect if we're using emergency power so that there's no chance of any crossover, and the emergency connection. So that's all its own thing.
Oh, okay.
And the control panel and down in the pit where the pumps are, there's electrical components everywhere. And they fail when the power goes out sometimes, or sometimes they go for 15, 20 years and nothing happens. So this time it happened. We're buying one to replace the one we had to switch over, and we're buying one for the shelf so I don't have to wait. Because if we ever needed both pumps, we wouldn't have had it until we got it. So, this way we'll make sure that we have redundancy and parts on the shelves.
Okay, great, thank you.
And then on the water side, are there any questions left on wastewater? Okay. For water, 7.53 inches of rain in July, and it's been raining since coming into the middle of August. So, awesome for capacity. We're like 96%. But the Foundry Brook Reservoir that holds it as we've grown into the plant, if you were to drive past it and you're familiar with how it normally looks, it's got a lot of color in it. And the difference between color and turbidity. Turbidity are particles that have a negative charge, and what we do at the plant is neutralize that charge so we can make the particles bigger and filter them out. Color is a soluble thing, and you actually try to oxidize it to get it to precipitate out. It doesn't have a charge on it necessarily. So the bottom line is we've been kind of fighting it and ourselves to make good water. It's been working, but we've spent a lot of extra time up there, over the last month and a half, and we're doing all right. But it's just been, with all of that extra water, it doesn't make it easy all the time. But we're nice and full, so we'll take that.
Does all this extra water put any pressure on the getting this crack to begin with?
Everything is awesome.
Works for me.
Very solid.
Right, I see that the flow to the system this year is larger by about 10% than the flow to, any idea why?
No. We just did a leak detection survey of the entire distribution system and found one service line leak, and not much else. So the system seems to be pretty tight. There's no telling what people do. I mean, we would also, I think, maybe look at the metering and see if if it's changed as well and gone up or not. I mean, we need to do, the efficiencies of what is metered, leaving the facility and what's showing up at taps, and do that kind of, to see what the difference is, what percentage we're running at. We've never been below 20%. State, I think, wants us at 15. We've never seen anything like that. So, an audit on the system would be a good idea to check out, what's leaving the master meter on Fishkill Road and what's being accounted for with our new system down here. It's that much easier to grab that data now. We should look into that. And along those lines, I do want to replace, the plant went on in 1997. That master meter that leaves as the storage tanks are coming in, it's called the entry point as it's entering the distribution system. That meter that's there, I'm looking for the price from Badger to change that out to a new style turbine meter where we can also have the cloud usage. because then we've got the same type of data grabbed from that that we don't have right now. And that would help us, I think, auditing the system to see, because you have what they call unaccounted for water. You know, there are certain taps, like even I think the American Legion Hall doesn't have a meter. We're not, the restrooms, I don't think, figure into. So we have stuff where water's being used and not necessarily figured in. Not that it's not getting paid for, but just accounting for where those gallons are going versus what's leaving the plant, to try to find out what that percentage is of unaccounted for water. So that's something we should begin to work on.
I'm surprised because I would have thought last year there'd be a lot of lawn usage and
Yeah.
less lawn usage this year.
Yeah, and it's been as wet as it's been, you would think, but I don't have an answer for it.
Thank you.
Something just occurred to me about wastewater. I've been reading where other villages and municipalities up and down the river have been struggling dealing with the stormwater runoff and how it just overloads the treatment plant.
Yeah. It's part of the issues for our facility, but to be honest with you, we have not had one washout with all the rains that have come down.
Excellent.
I don't really have a complete answer for you. We have times where we get so much inundation, you
Yeah.
know, between inflow and infiltration, the I&I that we've been talking about for years, where it comes to it and knocks everything loose, and we have a washout for a day or two, and we report it. We haven't had one yet this year. I couldn't
Even
tell you
with all
why.
that rain, that's
We still have the inflow. We still have it happening. It's
Yeah.
just system's behaving right now. So
Well, that's good to know.
keep it
Thanks.
quiet.
Just on the paving, if Doug and Mike, if you could put maybe an alert or something in the paper about paving Friday, commuters, give yourself a little extra time on your, online, that'd be appreciated. Let's see, thank you, Greg. We have an extensive, I don't know if you want to read this whole thing from Bugsy. Did I miss one here? Oh, Bill, or not, what do we got? Oh, building, okay. Building department, activity, new building permits 9, building permits issued 4, operating permits issued 2, COs issued 4, title searches 1, referrals HDRB 4, fees, applications and permit fees collected $2,022, title search collected $75 for a total for July of $1,142.
I had a question for Mr. Phillips.
Time's up,
Mr.
sorry.
Phillips.
I'm usually gone by now.
I know. I don't want you to skate out. Did they put the louver in the, do you know anything about the louvers going in the front of the generator?
They did not install that yet.
Okay. Do you know about it though? Is it happening?
We measured up on it, and we're going to go with non-motorized. We're going to go with just, you know, a louver in that opening that you've left roughed out.
I'll just leave it.
Yeah. So
That's a good
we're
idea.
not going to have to, it cuts down on the electrical, it cuts down on a bunch of stuff. We don't really need it.
You don't need to seal it from the outside.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Okay, highway department, from our vacationing crew chief. Started off the month with a cleanup from the Independence Day celebration, snow fences removed, grounds cleared up, and cones were returned to the highway, county highway department. We worked on a few clogged pipes at Fish Street and the subway, started painting the crosswalks on Main Street and intersecting side streets. Made a total of 4 benches for Main Street, with one of them being a commemorative bench to Charlie Eustace. Excuse me. A complete inspection of sidewalks and curbs was undertaken, and a list was made of safety issues. We received new garage recycling receptacles, which were deposited down at the dock and leveled properly with the assistance of Mayor Morandi. Grass cutting seemed to have doubled for a month with the excessive rainfall we received. We cut the hedges of McConnell Park and spruced up Tots Park by weeding the walkways, trimming the low-hanging limbs, removing positive debris left outside the fence, removing 4 benches that were decrepit. We inspected the rest of the benches and made a list of all the work that needed to be performed on them. We have started the daunting task of cleaning up the highway department grounds and organizing the garage and shed. While doing this, we hauled 5 loads of scrap metal to the scrap yard, with more loads planned for the future. We cleaned up the roofs of the 2 subway entrances and the roof of the village hall, repaired a small section of the rolled rubber roofing above the mayor's office, and it seems to have stopped the leak that was happening there. We have been filling a few reoccurring sinkholes around the village that seem to stem from drainage pipes running down Northern Avenue and the one that runs under Fair Street. I dug a 3.5-foot hole and set the post for the Dale Memorial plaque at the bandstand and closed out the month of July with a lovely plaque dedication. Getting poetic. We sent the 03 International garbage truck up to Riverview Industries to have new brake axle bushings installed new windshield wiper arm and blade on Bobcat, replaced the broken door handle on, we have to tell them not to put holes. We had the rear compactor seal removed and replaced by Benchmark Automotive due to the deterioration of the existing one, which was leaking unpleasantness throughout the village. In the coming month of August, we are looking forward to working with the new seasonal employee for the Recreation Department, Bruce Campbell. We want to finish the rest of the side crosswalk and paint all of the yellow X's throughout the village. We're going to start addressing sidewalk and curbing issues around the village by means of grinding sidewalk, repairing broken curbs, and replacing sidewalks and curbs that are beyond repair. And we will also be looking into sinkhole issues that I mentioned earlier. From nothing to the extremes. Thank you, Bugsy. Justice Court, fines forfeited, bail civil penalties $2,300, parking tickets $2,940, civil fees $90, mandatory state surcharges $1,955, for a total of $7,285. Respectfully, Thomas Costello, Village Justice. Report Mayor and Board of Trustees. Anyone like to start, or does anyone have anything? No?
I'll wait for the next item.
What's that?
I'll wait for the next item.
Which one? Oh, okay. Let's see. I mentioned the roof start, paving starts on Friday. I just wanted to mention, some people will be upset, the commuters, but the responsibility of the village is the lower part of Market Street on the south side, along with the north, but the north side that we're talking about towards the parking lot, Metro North. From there on is Metro North, or not all. There's a part of it. It goes a little bit further than the exit, but then where we had just finished our project, that area we were responsible for, and that is Metro North property. So what we did was decided to do the upper section, which had a lot of potholes in it, all the way down to the to where we had the project finished, which was our responsibility. In so doing, then we had a meeting with Metro North, and I told them that we were going to be paving. Would they be interested in finishing where these other potholes and where their property is and in disrepair? And they said they were. I met at a separate occasion with the person that's in charge of their parking areas, and we mapped out what he wanted to do. There was no kind of follow-up on that right away. I tried to get in touch with him a number of times to no avail. I finally got through to someone today and told them we were going to be paving. Would they like to continue that? The person above him, who I contacted, said they would be, but then he got back to me and said that they would not be able to reimburse us in a reasonable amount of time. So if everyone, when they go down there and you see that the paving's done and then there's huge potholes right after that, that's not our responsibility. And Metro North was given plenty of time to work with us on that, and that fell through. So I'm sure that'll be the first complaint. Why did we stop there when there's another 20 feet of minefields down there?
Were they hoping we would just do it anyway or something?
Sure.
I don't know what they were hoping, but yeah. I did meet with the Fjord Trail, the steering committee that's moving ahead. They did have problems with one of the engineers, and once again, bids came in very high for the breakneck extension that they were hoping to start, 3 times higher than they thought. So that's on hold. Oh, it's not on hold, they've reevaluated, they're moving ahead. But they couldn't go ahead with that work until, well, they have to rebid it or redesign it, and so that's where they're at with that. Let's see. The other stuff we can talk to later, I'd like to talk about the possibility of dog permits down at Mayor's Park and maybe Dockside, since we've taken that over. We can talk about that if we have time. I think that's all I have for now. Nothing else for anyone? Okay. Update on combined senior picnic. Fran?
Okay, I sent everyone an email today, with the invitation that we'll be sending out on Thursday to all the, employees and volunteers in the village, inviting them to this event, and Lynn has sent us, the invitation or the flyer that she used last year for the senior picnics, which we're going to post around, and then the letter asking the merchants for donations. So my thoughts are to get the invitations out on Thursday, work with you to get the letters out and move along with that, so we have everything ready. I will also on Thursday, get the tent and the tables and chairs from Durant, at least start that in motion. We can cancel that up to the week before. Also get the liquor permit, get that moving, because that takes like about 3 weeks to get done, so that's my Thursday, plan. So everything's should be on schedule for September 15th, rain or shine. I believe it's 1 to 5 is the event time.
Well, I know we were talking about tents or whatever, and then I was also thinking not only for people, but if we might need areas if it's raining or whatever for the food, which brings up another thing. If it does rain, do we have it that day? Because where are we going to cook? Or what do we do?
Well, we'll be grilling, right, so.
So grill in the rain?
Grilling.
Hot
Yeah.
temps?
Well, those things aren't tall enough to grill and set it
Yeah.
on fire.
That's what I thought.
We'd have to rig something up.
Well, I guess we can
We
work
could
on
do it.
Okay.
Well, like I said, you have to get a couple tents from Knights of Columbus.
What's
Are
that?
they, are they tall enough to grill underneath them?
Yeah, they're 3 feet high.
How high?
Anyway, I brought
50
them last
feet,
meeting,
is that what
I
you said?
have to borrow a couple or something, let us know.
I think it's you guys have to set them up.
Well, they grilled on the one that 4th of July.
Exactly.
Underneath them?
Yeah.
Okay. But they weren't, you don't use charcoal, you use.
We have gas.
Gas.
Yeah, this is that whole, the thing at Mayor's Park.
So we'd have to just get some.
We
We
fill
should
it
be-
charcoal.
Those charcoal grills down
Yeah,
there.
they get pretty hot.
We should be prepared with some.
I don't know
gas.
how hot though, I mean, I guess the same as a regular grill. Maybe, but it's all open, so it's, yeah.
Want to use the hot dog part of
We'll use the hot dog.
There we go. What happened to the hot dog guy?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yes,
did
we
you
got
ever,
that.
did you ever hear back
I
from
reached
him?
out to him to see if I could help him and asked him some questions, but he never got back in touch with me, so.
Okay, so I'm fine with moving ahead on that.
How big is that tent, Bob, that you're offering?
18 by 20.
That's plenty to go over the grill.
Yeah.
How long do they take to set up though? That's like a,
Well, if you get a couple guys, it would take us 20 to 15 minutes.
okay. So we'd have to just do it beforehand.
And let me know.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, just gotta go get them, bring them down there. It's easy to set up.
Okay.
It doesn't take much time. Like I said, 15 minutes you're done.
So we'll watch the weather then.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see, next we have Resolution 21, 2018, accepting the audit of the Justice Court. Maria or Fran, you were involved, so you can take this away and go over anything you would like to, or just do the resolution.
I make a motion to approve the resolution 21-2018.
I will second that. Need to read it.
Yes, I will read it. Whereas Section 2019-A of the Uniform Justice Court Act requires the towns and villages justices annually provide their court records to their respective town or village auditing boards, and that such records be examined and audited. And whereas the Village of Cold Spring Auditing Committee conducted an audit on the court records for the fiscal years ending May 31st, 2017, and May 31st, 2018. And whereas the results of this audit were submitted to the Village Board of Trustees at a public meeting held on August 14, 2018. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Cold Spring Board of Trustees accept the report of the audit of the Justice Records and instructs the clerk to forward the findings to New York State Office of Court Administration as required. Roll call.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Early?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Bellotto?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Aye. Thank you, and thank you, Fran and Marie, for all the time to do this. I know it's pretty labor intensive, so thank you. Did you guys want to remark on anything? Or?
No, we did the 2 years, and when we do it, like Kathy and Judge Costello have all the books ready for us, so as we're looking for what needs to be done, we have a form that we follow, which unfortunately the form doesn't follow the new process that they have because their processes have become more automated, and the forms that the state uses are still geared to the books. But they pull out all the books and show us what we need to see and make sure that we see whatever we ask for. So it works very smoothly and everything will do very well.
Okay. Well, thank you again. Okay, next is Resolution 22 of 2018, 22-2018, adding Appendix A to Employee Benefit Package. I have a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
I will second. Discussion. I will read it. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Cold Spring desires to make certain revisions to the employee benefit package, and whereas the employee benefit package shall apply to full-time employees scheduled to work at least 35 hours per week or not otherwise part of to a collective bargaining agreement, and whereas the new employee benefit package intends to make revisions to the existing employee benefit package, including but not limited to addition of Appendix A for licenses, certificates, and stipends. And whereas after analysis and discussion, the Village Board, the Village of Cold Spring have determined that it would be in the best interest of the village to amend the employee benefit package that was effective June 1st, 2017, and previously amended on November 28, 2017. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved that the addition of Appendix A to the employee benefit package attached here to as Exhibit A shall be effective as of June 1st, 2018 for all eligible employees, and that it shall repeal and replace all pre-existing employee benefit packages except to the extent otherwise provided therein. Roll call. What's that?
Can I make a, where he says, it shall repeal and replace all pre-existing employee benefit packages, I'm not sure that that's, does that sound correct? I mean, we're adding an appendix to the back of the employee benefit package. Are we creating a whole employee benefit package or just doing an appendix?
No, that's true.
Can we take that out?
Yes, where do we take it out, or how do we work it?
Shall be effective June 1st for all eligible employees, period. Exhibit A shall be effective June 1st.
Okay.
Is there any problem with that? Does that make sense?
That sounds good to me. I know what you're trying to do, but there's nothing to replace as far as the appendix. Okay, so, we will, so Michael, on the resolve section,
Yeah.
after, second line, after, eligible employees,
Mm-hmm.
that will stop there, period. And the remaining line and a half will be struck. So I'll make a new motion,
Wait, I have another comment.
Okay.
Paragraph 2. It applies to full-time and part-time employees.
Okay, you're ready.
So, take out the schedule to work 35 hours per week.
Excuse me?
Take out the schedule to work at least 35 hours per week. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
The employee benefit package applies to part-time?
Well, for example, the stipend applies to the registrar, who is a part-time employee.
That's true, okay, gotcha.
And I believe it also identifies work hours, lunch hours.
Okay.
So I would recommend, it says, whereas the employee benefit package shall apply to part-time and full-time employees, delete scheduled to work at least 35 hours per week, who are not otherwise party to a collective bargaining agreement.
Okay.
Do you have that, Michael?
So we're just adding part-time and full-time.
No, on that section, whereas employee benefit package shall apply to full-time and part-time employees, and then delete scheduled to work at least 35 hours per week. And then continue.
Okay.
Thank you. Good catch. Anything else? I will make a motion, to approve resolution number 20-2018 as amended, in two sections. What's that? 22-2018. With the changes just discussed.
Second?
Roll call?
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Early?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Bellotto?
Yes.
Mayor Morandi?
Yes. So for those that don't know, when we redid the employee benefit package, we did not add stipends, and we did not add additional amounts for if you have like a CDL license, or if you have certificates of license for the water department. That was eliminated. So those were redone so that those additional amounts could be added to salaries.
There's a typo in the appendix, that there's a double left parentheses, and should only be a single left parentheses.
Got it. So these licenses and certificates apply to immediately, and for
Yes.
employees who came in and already have them, this will be retroactive back.
What's that?
Employees who came in and already have a certificate or a license, and they can get this, it will be retroactive.
That's the way it's written, yes.
Okay. And the stipends are after probation.
Yes. So Greg, you can tell Luigi, he'll be retroactive, he'll be getting that stipend when he started.
Not a
Would be
stipend.
very appreciative of that.
Not a stipend.
Not a stipend.
Thank you for that, yes.
The certificate. Okay, approval of bills.
I move to approve batch 4752 for a total amount of $97,039.20, but contingent on follow-up with CCMR about some billing discrepancies on one of these bills.
Do you want to table the approval?
Sorry.
Do you want to table the approval or not?
Actually, the bills, I think we can do it conditionally. We'll follow up first thing tomorrow morning. The rate between Joe McKay and John appears to be switched in one of the bills, in one of the invoices, and we just need to get that. We don't know whether it's that the name is incorrect or the rate is incorrect. It may affect the total.
Okay, so what's the
action is.
the motion?
The motion is to approve batch 4752 for that $97,039.20. Contingent on clarification of this one bill from CCMR, which will be followed up tomorrow.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll hold that. We'll hold that in this stuff. We'll clear that. And we have time anyway, because I think we have a couple more months. 1 month? Okay, so we'll clear that for the next meeting. Public comment?
That senior picnic, that's September 15th, 1 to 5,
Yes, sir.
at Mayor's Park?
Yes. Saturday.
It's not just seniors though, it's,
Right.
Seniors and appreciation. Okay, we are now going to go, well, we'll be going to executive session to discuss employment history of a particular individual. And when we come out, we will not be taking any action, we'll just adjourn. So I'll make a motion to go in executive session for employment history, or to discuss employment history of a particular individual.
Second.
Steve second.
All in favor?
Aye.